Altaïr Ibn-La'Ahad, the legendary assassin in his white robes, leaping from rooftops, striking from the shadows, silently killing his targets. Those who know Assassin's Creed know this name well. Millions have played this game. But what if I told you this? It's not just a game, it's built on real history. Those white-robed assassins were real. That secret fortress atop the mountain was real. Those incredible assassinations really happened. And the real story is much darker, much more ruthless, and 1,000 times more fascinating than the game. Here's the story of the most deadly organization from 1,000 years ago, the Hashashin, the world's first professional assassin order. Men who made kings tremble and brought empires to their knees. And the genius who founded it all, Hassan-i Sabbah. Hassan-i Sabbah was born in Iran in the 1050s. The Middle East was in complete chaos at that time. The Crusades were about to begin. The Islamic world was fractured from within. Powerful empires were clashing with each other. Hassan was intelligent from a young age. His family was well off financially, and they were able to give the boy a good education. The young man learned philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, religion, everything. But what he truly learned was how to understand people. What people wanted, what they believed in, how they could be manipulated. There's a widespread story from that period. According to legend, 3 young men named Hassan, Omar Khayyam, and Nizam al-Mulk studied under the same teacher. Omar Khayyam, yes, that famous poet and mathematician. Nizam al-Mulk was the man who would become the most powerful vizier of the Seljuk Empire. According to the story, these 3 friends made a pact. Whoever among us gains power shall bring the others to his side. Sounds nice, doesn't it? But here's the truth. This story is most likely a legend. Modern historians say the ages of these 3 men don't even match up. Nizam al-Mulk was 30 years older than the others. But the story is so beautiful, so compelling that it's been told for centuries. The reality is this. Hassan-i Sabbah somehow entered the Seljuk court. Maybe they knew each other, maybe they didn't. But the result was the same. A young, intelligent, ambitious man caught the attention of Vizier Nizam al-Mulk and took a position at court. And this is where things went wrong. Hassan wasn't just a clerk. The man was so talented, so impressive that he gained the trust of Sultan Malik Shah. He began to overshadow Vizier Nizam al-Mulk. Rumors spread through the court. Hassan will be the new vizier. Nizam al-Mulk was no fool. He had held that position for decades and knew how to survive. Through court intrigues and conspiracies, he turned the Sultan against Hassan. And he succeeded. Hassan-i Sabbah lost everything and was thrown out of the court, expelled, scorned, humiliated. Now put yourself in his place. You've reached the peak of your life. You have power, money, respect. Then suddenly, everything is taken from you. Your reputation is destroyed. What would you do? Most people might give up. Maybe try to build a new life somewhere else. But Hassan-i Sabbah wasn't that kind of person. Hassan decided to take revenge. But how? Behind Nizam al-Mulk stood a massive imperial army. Thousands of soldiers. Infinite resources. Hassan had no army, no money, no supporters. But he had one thing, his intelligence. After being expelled from court, Hassan disappeared for years. He traveled throughout the Middle East, talked to people, learned, and he discovered something, the Ismailis. The Ismailis are a branch of Shia Islam. At that time, they were being ostracized and oppressed by the Sunni Seljuks. A marginalized community, hating the system, angry. Perfect ground for Hassan. The man proved to be a manipulation genius. Everywhere he went, he spread Ismaili teachings, but while doing this, he did something else. He won people's minds. His speeches were so impressive that listeners began to believe in him blindly. To poor villagers, to the oppressed, to the lonely, he would say, "The world is unjust, the rulers are tyrants, but we can change this. Stay loyal, trust me." And people trusted. Hassan built a network. But this was no ordinary network. In every city, in every town, he gained 1 or 2 loyal followers. He trained them, assigned them tasks, and he made a plan. In 1090, he set his target, Alamut Castle. Alamut was a fortress at the peak of the Alborz Mountains in northern Iran. surrounded by cliffs among the clouds, an almost unreachable place. The real-life counterpart of Masyaf Castle in the game? So, how did Hassan take this castle? Did he attack with thousands of soldiers? Did he lay siege? No, Hassan did something much cleverer. He had been preparing for years. He had sent spies to Alamut. These spies entered the castle disguised as merchants, mingled with the people, became friends. For months, maybe years, they waited and slowly spread the Ismaili faith. Hassan wasn't just winning people. He was winning the trust of the castle commander. He became his advisor, his friend. And one day when Hassan-i Sabbah arrived at Alamut's gate, the castle commander opened the doors. Without a drop of blood spilled, without a single arrow fired, Alamut Castle now belonged to Hassan-i Sabbah, and this became it. The headquarters of what history knows as the Hashashin, the world's first organized assassination organization. After Hassan settled into Alamut, he did something very important. He never went outside again. No, I'm not joking. The man spent the remaining 35 years of his life inside that castle. He never even stepped outside. It's said he only went to his castle's roof twice. And given that he was such a master assassin, even if he did go out, he wouldn't have left a trace. He sat in his library, wrote books, made plans, and established a system. Hassan didn't build an army, because he couldn't defeat the Seljuks with an army. Instead, he built something much more dangerous, a fanatic assassin organization. The system worked like this. Young men were recruited to Alamut. Most from poor families, some orphan children. They were taught reading and writing. Mathematics, astronomy, geography, everything was taught. But the real training was different. The young men were taught combat techniques, sword, dagger, strangulation techniques. But they were trained not only physically but mentally as well. They were given knowledge of poisons. Which poison has what effect, how to use them. They were taught disguise. One day a merchant, one day a dervish, one day a soldier. How to play each role. They learned languages. Arabic, Persian, Turkish. How can you infiltrate without knowing the enemy's language? But most importantly, they were taught blind obedience. And here comes that famous legend, the Garden of Paradise. According to the story, Hassan would do this. He would drug a young assassin candidate and knock him unconscious. Then he would take him to a secret garden inside Alamut. This garden was like paradise. Crystal clear rivers flowed, exotic fruits grew, music played, beautiful women danced. Everything was perfect. When the man woke up, he would think he was in paradise. He would stay there for days, given everything he desired. Food, drink, pleasure, everything. Then he would be drugged again and taken back. When he woke up, Hassan would tell him, "You've seen paradise, but that was just a preview. If you obey me, complete your mission, when you die, you'll go there forever." Now, is this story true? Historians debate it. Nobody knows for certain, but this is certain. Hassan-i Sabbah's assassins didn't fear death in the slightest when carrying out their missions. When captured, they would smile. Even under torture, they wouldn't speak a word. They embraced death, because for them, death wasn't the end. It was the beginning. The year 1092. Hassan-i Sabbah was now ready. His first target was clear, his old patron Nizam al-Mulk. That year, Nizam al-Mulk was returning from Baghdad. Hundreds of soldiers escorted him along the way, because by now, everyone had heard the reputation of the Hashashin. Everyone was on alert. Throughout the journey, every precaution had been taken. Nizam al-Mulk was never left alone. Every meal he ate was checked. Every person he spoke to was questioned. H's guards were ready for the slightest suspicious move. But the Hashashin were patient. They didn't rush. They waited for the right moment. One evening when they stopped for the night, an old dervish approached Nizam al-Mulk. On his back, tattered robes, in his hand, a walking stick. "Sir, I have a petition," he said. There was helplessness in his voice, the plea of an old man. The guard stopped the dervish, but Nizam al-Mulk raised his hand. "Let him speak," he said. He was a compassionate man. He listened to the voice of the people. Perhaps this quality was what made him such a good vizier, but now this quality would cause his death. He bent down to take the petition. The dervish approached with calm steps. There was no hurry, as if he had prepared for this his entire life. And at that moment, the dervish pulled his dagger from beneath his robe and stabbed Nizam al-Mulk in the chest. One move, fast, precise, lethal. Nizam al-Mulk's eyes widened in shock. He put his hand to his chest, saw the blood flowing. The guards screamed and threw themselves on the dervish. Swords fell. The dervish was cut to pieces on the spot, but the man never resisted, never tried to escape. He just lay there with a strange smile on his lips. It was too late. The most powerful vizier of the Seljuk Empire, a man who had held that position for 40 years, had been killed by an assassin among hundreds of guards. The assassin hadn't even tried to escape. After completing his mission, he had smiled and awaited death, because in his mind, the gates of paradise had opened. When Hassan-i Sabbah heard the news in Alamut, do you know what he did? According to records, he showed no emotion. He simply said, "Justice has been served." This wasn't just revenge. This was a message. Hassan-i Sabbah was telling the entire world, no one is safe. No matter how many guards you have, no matter how powerful you are, I can reach you. This wasn't the first. This was just the beginning. In the coming years, the Hashashin would carry out dozens, perhaps hundreds of assassinations. Sultans, kings, commanders, princes. No one was safe because the Hashashin didn't fight with armies. They would send one assassin near the target. They would infiltrate among the guards. They would wait for months, even years. And then, when no one expected it, the strike would come. And there's another story, this time a real Hashashin assassination. Conrad of Montferrat. The year 1192, the city of Tyre, in modern-day Lebanon. Conrad was one of the Crusader leaders, a powerful, experienced, intelligent commander. And in a few days, he would become king of Jerusalem. The coronation ceremony was being prepared. That evening, he had dinner with a bishop. It was a long meeting, political discussions, plans. Late in the evening, he finished the meal and set off for home. Two monks appeared in the street. Christian monks, pious-looking people. They approached Conrad. Perhaps they had a request, perhaps they wanted a blessing. Conrad stopped. He was a devout man. He respected clergy. And at that moment, one of the monks pulled his dagger from beneath his robe. Two daggers plunged simultaneously into Conrad's chest. Fast, precise, lethal. The guards rushed over. They killed one assassin on the spot. The other tried to escape but was captured. When captured, he was smiling. Conrad of Montferrat died a few hours later. He was days away from becoming king of Jerusalem. The coronation ceremony was canceled. A funeral ceremony was held instead. This was the power of the Hashashin. No matter who the target was, no matter how protected they were, they would wait patiently, watch for the right moment, and strike. This assassination became so famous that even in the Assassin's Creed games, when referencing assassinations during the Crusades period, these kinds of examples are used. Another story. Seljuk Sultan Sanyar wanted to send an army against the Hashashin. "I don't think they're that powerful. It's exaggerated," he said. That night, when he woke up, he found a dagger beside his pillow. And a note. "If we had wanted, this would have been in your heart." The Sultan never spoke of the Hashashin again. This was Hassan-i Sabbah's genius. The man often didn't even need to kill. The threat alone was enough. Fear was more powerful than anything. Kings and sultans couldn't sleep at night. They feared an assassin would emerge from every shadow, every corner. They couldn't trust anyone, because the Hashashin could infiltrate anywhere. Your closest guard could be a Hashashin. Your most trusted advisor could be a Hashashin. Your steward, your cook, your warden. Anyone could be a Hashashin, and you would never know, until the dagger plunged into your back. Now let's talk about the Assassin's Creed game. Many details we see in the game actually come from real history. Alamut Castle is the real counterpart of Masyaf in the game. A fortress at mountain peaks, hard to reach, with training grounds and libraries inside. The game developers did their research well. The assassin's training is also real. In the game, Altaïr does parkour, learns combat, moves stealthily. All of these were in the training of the real Hashashin. The slogan, "Nothing is true, everything is permitted." This is the game's philosophy, but also forms the foundation of the Hashashin's way of thinking. For them, the end justified all means. The hidden blade in the game is interesting. In the game, early assassins had to cut off their ring fingers to use this blade. Then, Altaïr redesigned the blade and finger amputation was no longer necessary. But this is entirely the game's fiction. The real Hashashin had no such tradition. They used normal daggers, sometimes poisoned, sometimes not. But they always carried them hidden. Inside clothing, inside boots, under belts. Let's talk about the word Hashashin. The English word assassin comes from here, but it has an interesting story. The Arabic word hashishi means hashish user. But this name was given to the Hashashin by their enemies. They wanted to belittle them by saying, "These are drug addicts. Were they really using hashish?" Maybe, but their real power didn't come from hashish. It came from their training, their discipline, their strategies. The word eventually passed into Europe as assassin and began to be used to mean killer, if we call any assassin an assassin. Today, it comes from those men in that mountain castle 1,000 years ago. There are interesting things about Hassan-i Sabbah. We said the man didn't leave Alamut for 35 years. But that's not all. He even had his own sons executed. He had 2 sons. One was accused of drunkenness, the other of murder. Hassan had them both executed. Not with his own hands, but he gave the order. Why? Because according to Hassan, the rules were equal for everyone. Even his own sons, if they made a mistake, punishment was necessary. This shows how ruthless a man he was, but also how principled. Hassan lived his life completely for his cause. No luxury, no entertainment, no family. Just books, plans, and missions. According to sources, the man was incredibly disciplined. He would rise at the same time every day, eat at the same time, work at the same time, never wavering. And this discipline was reflected in his organization. The Hashashin became the most disciplined, most organized group of their time. Hassan-i Sabbah died in 1124, requiescat in pace. But his organization lived on. The Hashashin continued for decades more. New leaders came, the organization grew. Other castles besides Alamut were captured. In Syria, in Iran, in Iraq, there were Hashashin castles everywhere. But in 1256, everything changed. The Mongols came. Hulagu Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, was devastating the Middle East. He was destroying everything in his path. Cities were burning, people were being put to the sword. The Mongols were like a natural disaster, unstoppable, and Alamut's turn came. The Hashashin thought no army could ever take Alamut. The castle was atop cliffs. There was only one narrow path to ascend. A handful of men could stop thousands of soldiers. But the Mongols were different. These weren't just soldiers, they were machines. Emotionless, ruthless, tireless. Hulagu Khan besieged Alamut. But this was no ordinary siege. The Mongols set up catapults. Huge, terrifying machines. And they rained stones on the castle without stopping. Day and night, without pause. Stones crashed into the walls. Buildings shook with each impact. Roofs collapsed. Towers shattered. The Hashashin resisted. They rained arrows down below. They poured boiling oil. They tried every tactic. But there was nothing they could do. The Mongols were patient. They seemed endless. The siege lasted for weeks. Inside Alamut, food ran out. Water dwindled. People began to die. But they didn't surrender. Because they were Hashashin. Surrender wasn't in their vocabulary. Finally, the walls came down. The Mongols poured in. And that day, Alamut turned into a pool of blood. The Mongols killed everyone. They didn't distinguish between women, men, children. The assassins fought to their last breath, but the numbers were too many, far too many. And the worst part, they burned the library. The Hashashin had been accumulating knowledge for centuries. Philosophy, science, history, mathematics. Thousands of books, manuscripts, documents. All of it was in that library. The Mongols set it on fire. Smoke rose to the sky. Everything turned to ash. Centuries of knowledge, books written by Hassan-i Sabbah's own hand, the secrets, techniques, history of the Hashashin. Most of it was lost in that fire. Why do we know so little about the Hashashin today? This is why. Their own records were destroyed. What remains is only what their enemies wrote, but the Hashashin didn't disappear. At least their legacy didn't disappear. The word assassin is still used today. They were the world's first organized assassination organization, and their methods, their techniques are still studied by intelligence agencies today. Infiltrating spies into enemy ranks, waiting for years, psychological warfare, establishing an empire of fear. All of these were first used so effectively by the Hashashin. Video games are made about them. Movies are filmed. Books are written. 1,000 years later, they're still being talked about because the story is incredible. A man expelled from court with no army, no money, brought the world's most powerful empires to their knees with nothing but his intelligence. Hassan-i Sabbah was perhaps one of the most strategic leaders history has ever seen. He won without fighting. He built an empire without an army, and he created such fear that centuries after his death, people still spoke of him. This is the real story. Altaïr in the game was a character, but Hassan-i Sabbah was real. Alamut was real. The assassinations were real. A video game told a story. But at the foundation of that story lay a 1,000-year-old real legend. And this legend was much darker, much more incredible, much more impactful than the game. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write what you think in the comments. There are many more stories like this in history, and I'll continue to share them all with you. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted.